Hey vinyl friends and vinyl community, it's Brian from Brian's Vinyl Records, and I am here for another contest entry, this time for my friend Emma over at 8 Vinyl Low, who is celebrating 500 subs. Wow. Awesome work, Emma. Just really awesome. Love your channel. And the name of this contest is Playing in the Band. Rules are fairly simple. Show an album with amazing guitars, an album with amazing bass, an album with amazing drums, an album with amazing vocals, and then an album with something amazing of your choice. So here's what I have for you today. Guitars. Wow. So many bands to choose from when it comes to guitars. Great guitarists, great guitar duos, great guitar bands. It was a tough choice. I whittled it down to a handful of bands which I really like, and I looked at it as a dual guitar approach. I love a good band that has two solid guitar players behind it. And so I chose this album here. This is Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. I absolutely love the playing and the interplaying between Dave Sabo and Scotty Hill on Skid Row's albums. And this album is definitely my favorite of their albums. And the guitar work on here is absolutely fantastic. It is just fun to listen to them go back and forth with each other in verses, in solos. It's just really well done, well put together. Love, love, love the guitar work on Slave to the Grind. So that's my pick for that. What about bass lines? So much you can do with basses. I mean, you think about it, you could go the easy route, and pick out something like a Bootsy Collins, who that's what he's there for, is bass. Flea of Red Hot Chili Peppers, always a great bassist. Sting with the Police. There's lots of options out there. But what I went with is probably going to surprise some people. I went with Metallica's Black Album. Now, for one, you can actually hear Jason Newsted on here, where you couldn't on the Injustice for All, so that's a plus right there. Number two, I really love the bass lines he has in this. Songs like My Friend in Misery, Of Wolf and Man. There are just great stuff on here that Jason Newsted adds to the sonic pleasure of this album. And so that's why I picked this one. I think Jason Newsted is underrated as a bass player. And I know he got knocked by the gang after the fact for trying to copy the guitar work. I don't believe that's the case at all. And it doesn't sound like it is on this album either. I think Jason Newsted is fantastic and sounds great on this album. So I picked Metallica's self-titled, also known as Black Album. Drums. Lots of great drummers out there. John Bonham of Led Zeppelin, Charlie Watts of the Stones, Keith Moon of The Who, Ringo Starr of the Beatles. Okay, maybe that's a stretch, but even so, there's so much out there to choose from. So what did it come down to? Well, it came down to someone who I think took a genre of music and elevated the drums in that musical genre. I'm talking about the speed metal, the thrash metal, the death metal. Normally when you're listening to that, you get this great pounding drums where the double kick is going nuts, the snare is going off, and you get all this stuff going on in there with that. And that's great, and I love that. But this person took that genre and made his drums a part of the song, not just a backing of the song. I'm talking about Vinnie Paul of Pantera and Vulgar Display of Power. Vinnie Paul basically took a thrash metal drum and turned it upside on its head and really made the drums a major part of the song. And especially when you're listening to it, you listen and you hear all this stuff going on with the drums, and it's perfect. It sounds great. It's just all there. And he changed what it meant to be a speed thrash death metal drummer, I think. And this album was one of the catalysts for that. This was the album that got me into Pantera, and for that I chose it for that reason alone. So rest in peace, Vinnie Paul. You left a major mark on your genre of music, and couldn't be happier to select you as my amazing drum sound. For vocals, man, everything you've seen so far has been in the metal genre. I could have gone with Ronnie James Dio, probably the greatest metal vocalist out there. You could pick someone like Sammy Hagar, awesome awesome hard rock vocalist. You could pick Axl Rose. I mean, who can deny he's a great vocalist? There's a lot of options out there, but I went a different route for my vocalist, and I chose a country music artist who I think has an absolutely amazing voice. Just love listening to her sing, and highly recommend checking her out. The vulnerability she shows in her voice, with also the power she shows in her voice and the strength, is unreal. This is Ashley Monroe, and this album is called Sparrow. This is her most recent album that she put out, other than Pistol Annie's stuff. This is the most recent that she's put out, and it's absolutely fantastic. All three of her solo albums are really good, and of course I love the Pistol Annies, so those are also are great as well. But this, to me, just her voice, it shines on this album, and it just sucks you in, and you feel it, you love it. So I went with that. I thought picking a vocal that moves you is probably the way to go on this, and this definitely does that. So Ashley Monroe, Sparrow. And for my last choice, it was pick any instrument or whatever you want to show that's amazing on an album. And I went for an all-around album, but it's mostly for the vocalist on this. I was in Barnes & Noble, and I had a coupon, so I was looking around for something to pick up. And I saw two albums by this artist sitting there. One was a collection of songs, and the other one was this album that I'm going to show. And I decided on this album because I had never heard it before, and I just knew I really loved the voice of the singer and his songwriting ability, so I thought I'd give it a chance. I already had a lot of the songs on the collection in part of his other bands, and decided I would take a chance on this instead, and I'm so glad I did. I'm talking about Chris Cornell's Higher Truth album. This is an absolutely stunning album. His vocals on here are top notch. The guitars on here are fantastic. The songwriting is so good. And, I brought this home not knowing what to expect out of it. I didn't know anything about it, never heard it. And I put it on, and both myself and the wife commented about how beautiful this album is and how it's just a really great listen. So I'm going with this for as an all-around package, obviously highlighted by the vocals of Chris Cornell. Just amazing. If you haven't heard this, I highly recommend going out there to your, listening app that you use and stream it, because it is fantastic, and I don't think you'll regret listening to this at all. So Chris Cornell's Higher Truth. So those are my 5 albums. Once again, congratulations, Emma, on reaching 500 subs. What a great accomplishment, and well deserved. Love your channel. I watch every episode and enjoy it. Love seeing what you get as far as your British blues and all that stuff. I think that's just phenomenal. So keep up the good work. I look forward to watching you every time you post. And good luck to everyone who enters this contest. I hope you enjoyed doing this. I thought it was really cool. So if you liked my picks, let me know. If you want to leave a comment on my picks, please do. Give a thumbs up, and go check out Emma's channel and check out her contest. You have until the end of this month, November 30th, to enter. So I think that gives you exactly almost a week, a little over a week to get that in. So check it out, link below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep spinning vinyl, friends.